Solana, Cardano, XRP, all overhyped garbage? What if I told you that some of the biggest names in crypto, the ones you hear about over and over again, might not be what you think they are? Solana, Cardano, XRP, the so-called Ethereum killers, the banker's coin, the projects hyped as the future of finance. Are they really the future? Or are they just carefully packaged illusions? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might never look at these projects the same way again. And if you do stick around, you'll understand why most investors are playing checkers, while a few are playing chess. Let's start with Solana. It's lightning fast, right? It boasts thousands of transactions per second. It's sleek, it's marketed like the Tesla of blockchains. But here's what they don't want you to think about. Speed is meaningless if decentralization is sacrificed. Solana achieves its speed by relying on a small number of validators. That means it's fast, but it's also fragile. One outage, one coordinated attack, and the whole chain can literally pause. And yes, it has paused more than once. Ask yourself, would you trust your life savings or the world's financial future on a system that freezes? But Solana isn't alone in this game of smoke and mirrors. Let's talk about Cardano. For years, it's been called the scientific blockchain, the one with peer-reviewed research, academic rigor, and an army of believers. But here's the uncomfortable truth. After all that theory, all those years of anticipation, where's the adoption? Cardano built a narrative of patience, of careful engineering, but a blockchain without real-world usage is like a rocket ship that never leaves the launch pad. Billions of dollars poured in, hype cycles came and went, and still most people can't point to one must-use application built on Cardano. Is that the future, or is it just another academic experiment disguised as destiny? And then there's XRP, the so-called banker's coin. Its community will tell you it's designed to revolutionize global payments, to replace SWIFT, to become the rails of international finance. But let's be brutally honest. If banks wanted XRP, they would already be using it. Instead, what we see are endless partnerships in name only, trial runs, test cases, announcements that make headlines but change nothing. For over a decade, XRP has been just about to revolutionize banking. How long can a project survive on promises of tomorrow while delivering nothing today? Now here's where the story gets darker, because these projects aren't just innocent science experiments. They thrive on hype. They thrive on communities that defend them with religious zeal. And that hype, that belief, fuels billions in market cap without delivering fundamental value. Ask yourself, why are retail investors always told Solana is the next Ethereum, Cardano is the smart academic choice, XRP is the hidden gem banks don't want you to know about? Isn't it strange that the narratives always sound too good to be true? Here's the truth few dare to say. Most of these chains are distractions. They are shiny objects, keeping retail investors busy while the real revolution continues quietly in the background. That revolution is Bitcoin. And here's why. Bitcoin doesn't need to be the fastest. It doesn't need to promise smart contracts for everything. It doesn't need bankers to pretend they'll adopt it. Bitcoin is the only one that actually solves something. It solved money. Every other chain tries to be something else. Faster transactions, greener consensus, institutional partnerships. But Bitcoin did something no one else dared to do. It separated money from the state. And that is why, despite all the noise, Bitcoin keeps growing stronger, year after year. Now think about this. If Solana collapses tomorrow, nothing in the world changes. If Cardano disappears overnight, no one loses access to a world-changing app. If XRP goes to zero, the banking system doesn't even blink. But if Bitcoin fails, the entire global conversation about sound money, about freedom from inflation, about separating money from politics collapses. That's the difference. That's why these Ethereum killers and bankers' coins don't matter as much as you're told. They are speculative experiments, fun for traders, but irrelevant for history. So why are they hyped so much? Because hype sells. Hype gives influencers something to shill. It gives VCs tokens to dump on retail. It gives YouTubers thumbnails with 100x potential, and retail investors eat it up over and over again. Meanwhile, the quiet, patient few who simply keep stacking Bitcoin are the ones playing the long game. Not the flashy game, not the hyped-up lottery ticket game, but the game that actually matters. And here's the irony. One day when people finally realize that Solana was just another centralized experiment, that Cardano was more theory than reality, that XRP was never going to replace Swift, they will look back and say, how did we not see it? The answer was right in front of us the whole time. That answer was Bitcoin, not the noise, not the distractions, not the overhyped garbage, but the only project that mattered. Now you have a choice. You can keep chasing the hype trains, or you can step off the merry-go-round and start learning why Bitcoin is the quiet revolution that actually works. If this video gave you something to think about, something you're not hearing anywhere else, then do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who's still stuck in the hype cycle, because the truth, the real truth, needs to spread. This isn't financial advice. It's perspective. Perspective you won't find in the marketing material of Solana or Cardano or XRP. It's perspective built on history, on first principles, and on seeing through the noise. So next time someone asks you, should I invest in Solana or Cardano or XRP? Just smile and ask them a question in return. If they disappeared tomorrow, would the world even notice? Because deep down, you already know the answer, and that's why you're here. Because you're searching for more than hype. You're searching for the truth. And the truth is this: Bitcoin doesn't need hype because history is on its side. So stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay focused on what really matters. Because when the noise fades and the dust settles, only one will remain, and that one is Bitcoin.